Hey gang, Carl White here, again located in the secret headquarters of the Mortgage Marketing Animals slash Freedom Club. And boy, we got a very special class. Man, I love you, man. You're just the most awesome guy ever, Ralph.
Well, thank you so much, man. Now that's a great way to start this meeting.
That is a great way.
Who doesn't love hearing that? But thank you very much. I feel the same way about you, my brother.
So I think everybody knows who you are. They certainly should. So Ralph, most of you know, is the one that got me in the mortgage business, that none of us would be here today. And the thousands of loan officers that we've helped, tens of thousands that we've helped across the nation, none of that would have happened if it wasn't for this guy that's on today's class. So I'm forever grateful. So Ralph and I were talking a little bit back. And Ralph said, Carl, what's the number one and number two issue that you see with loan officers today? And I said, man, they both run a first and second. You know, it's like there's really two major problems that I see for the most part that almost all loan officers share at some degree. Number one, call reluctance, picking up the phone and making phone calls, because we all know, dude, if you pick up the phone and ask for the business, you'll get it, right? That's the one thing all top producers have in common is they do the phone work. And then number two, getting help once their business starts to build up, getting help. And I've often thought, Ralph, a lot of people delay the getting help because, gee, if I get help, then I'll have no reason to pick up the phone, not to pick up the phone. And so I'll delay getting help. Honestly, I'll delay getting help so I don't have to go pick up the phone. And so what you said to me, she said, so really, even the help part comes back to call reluctance, because they would get the help, but they're looking for an excuse. And you and I, Ralph, have fallen into that category in the past too. They're looking for an excuse not to have to pick up the phone. So if they're having to enter in their own DU and put out their own fires, well, while they're doing that, they feel busy, they feel productive, even though they're not bringing in more loans when they're doing activity. The only time you're bringing in more loans is when you're doing phone work for the most part. And you said, Carl, they should never, ever have call reluctance, especially if they're calling people that want to hear from them, that are expecting their call, are wanting their call, are welcoming their call. Just like you don't have call reluctance calling your buddy or your friend or your brother or your sister. And I said, what do you mean? And you mapped it out for me. I said, dude, that would make a great class. So that's kind of your lead in for what we're doing here today.
Absolutely. That's the perfect setup. So this actually came about from one of my clients. I got a call from her, you know, off not our regular call time. She just wrote to me. She said, man, I'm just really, having a hard time picking up the phone. It's like call reluctance is rearing its ugly head. So this was not perhaps the first time that we had this conversation, nor is she the only one, right? I mean, everybody come, even if they don't go, I have call reluctance, the fact that, as you said, they wind up doing everything else, that's a symptom of call reluctance, because you'll find anything else to keep you busy. So I started asking some questions, and this is what came into mind. So if you look at this hierarchy of leads, you go, that sounds like something. Because as I was saying, there was a hierarchy of leads, it reminded me of this. And we all remember back in, you know, social studies, or maybe there's a college course you took or something where they talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? We've heard of this. And so as people, you know, we've got this pyramid, and it's the very basic thing we need here. There's physiological needs, air, food, just stuff just for us to live. And then safety needs, you know, personal security, employment, resources, health, things like that. And once those things can be addressed and nailed down, then we really, you know, love and belonging is so it's our interaction with people, friendships, intimacy, family. The next thing above that in the hierarchy, esteem, so respect, status, recognition. These are all things that feed our egos. It's all things that we need. And then at the top is self-actualization, becoming the very best person that we can be once all these things have come together. So we got thinking, I said, you know, there is a hierarchy there, but there's a natural hierarchy in our field, but in any field. right? So let's break it down this way. Let's just kind of take a step back. So I get the call, struggling today, call reluctance, right? She's sitting, staring at the phone, nothing's happening. And as I mentioned, she's not Carl, she's not alone here, right? Every loan officer, shoot, every salesperson, almost every person at some level deals with this. So what we've discussed has really become kind of a guiding principle. So I asked her right off the start, I said, so what's at the heart of your call reluctance? I mean, is it a fear of making all calls or just a fear of making cold calls? Because there's a big difference. She said, I really hate making cold calls. In other words, picking up the phone, calling somebody I don't know, and asking them for business, asking them to do something, somebody that I don't know. It's an ice cold relationship, like cryogenically frozen. There's nothing there at all. Just as an aside here, if your call reluctance is a fear of making any phone calls, like you just hate picking up the phone, it doesn't matter for what reason.
If it was calling your best friend in the world, I just hate picking up the phone because I have this phobia of phones, like snakes, spiders, and that phone.
Phonophobia.
Yeah, phonophobia.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if that's the issue, you maybe seriously should consider whether this is the right profession for you. Because no getting around it, there is going to be a great deal of time spent on the phone as a mortgage professional. Okay, but if you go, no, I love talking to people I know. I love, continuing relationships. I love being in front of people, sharing, talking, and I love all that kind of stuff. But it's a fear of making cold calls. And that comes down to the fear of rejection, because as people, we don't like being told no. Then you're in good company. And in fact, as we found out here, and I worked through with my client, you really, truly may be fretting over nothing. Okay, so I said, good. So just curious. Let's talk about your pipeline of business. So now we're going to zoom right in on the mortgage. All the stuff is specifically mortgage industry related. I said, how many loans with contracts do you currently have in your pipeline? About 12. I said, okay, good. So you remember that we got that really ninja system that we have for marketing to your pipeline? And by the way, most people mistake their pipeline for what it is. They look at it and think it's just their pipeline. Your pipeline is not just your pipeline. Your pipeline is actually your number one source for new business. Okay, most people don't recognize that. She goes, yeah, I remember that system. And that system, we call up and we give loan status updates, and then we ask for business. I said, great. Have you made those calls this week? Have you called?
So just to make sure, in case somebody's new.
Yeah.
In case somebody's new here this week. So what Ralph's talking about is our Tuesday update phone calls, right? We're on our Tuesday updates. Just a 30-second explanation of the Tuesday update.
Perfect. Oh, from me? Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So what we do is we go through our pipeline. Specifically, the people associated with the loans in our pipeline, the realtors, the borrowers, the title companies, or if you're an attorney state, the closing attorney. We're going to go through every loan in our pipeline, and we're going to call all four of those people: the listing realtor, the buying realtor, the borrower, and the title company or the closing attorney. We're going to give them a loan status update, let them know what's going on with the loan, and then we're going to follow that up with a really cool, chill call to action. Okay. So in a nutshell, and we'll talk more about it and the benefits and what's behind it and the whys and wherefores. But that's the Tuesday update calls. But the point is, it's not just an update call. It's an update call with a call to action. Okay, so I asked her, have you made these calls? She says, well, no, I haven't made the calls yet. I said, all right, well, then whom should you be calling first for business? Because you're fretting over calling people you don't know. Should you be calling people with files in escrow in your current pipeline who actually want you to call them? Or people who you don't know, who aren't working with you, and basically who want you just to leave them alone? Well, clearly, she said, it's the people in the pipeline. And think through this. Those people I just mentioned, all those people associated with a loan, do they want to hear from you? Well, of course they do, Carl, right? They do.
They want to know what's going on.
They want to know what's going on. And here's what's amazing. If you don't call them and tell them, are they going to call you first and ask you? Are they going to call you if you don't call them? Sure they will. And here's what's great. If they have to call you first, is that call going to go as well? No.
Like, dude, where you at? What's going on with my loan?
Right.
How's things going?
You're going to talk to these people one way or another. So you call them first. You take the lead. Use it as an advantage. Don't let it be a disadvantage.
This is a great point. So the number one, actually it's the number two. The number one complaint of realtors, they don't close me on time. The number two complaint of realtors, I don't know what's going on in the file. In other words, the loan officer isn't calling me up to give me an update on the file. So these people aren't just wanting you to call them. They get mad and upset if you don't. So your point here, Ralph, is like what you was telling your client that day, or your one-on-one coaching student, that it's not call reluctance when you're calling people that want you to call them, if you don't call them, they're calling you upset that you didn't call them.
Right. And when you do call them, they're going to thank you for calling them.
Yes.
It's the most incredible thing.
It is.
So I love this next slide here. So why is there a picture of the universe? Because is there an easier call in the universe to make than to someone who wants you to call them? No, there's not. All right, so we established this one. That's a great first call to make. We call it the just ask calls to the pipeline, because you're going to talk to them anyway, and they really want you to call them.
Are we going to go into? Are you going to go into the basics, the call to action script here?
Here's what we'll do. I'm going to have I put together a little PDF that's actually got the scripts that we use throughout this. So we're actually not going to practice the scripts during the class here, but we'll have those.
So the bottom line to this script, though, is they're expecting you to call them and give an update. But really what you're doing is making sure you put a call to action. So if it's on the listing agent, the call to action might be to call them and meet them for a cup of coffee, right? And start to work on, doing the Thor's hammer, the coffee appointments.
Yep.
If the borrower and co-borrower, hey, it's great working with you guys. Here's your update. Oh, by the way, do you have any friends, family members, or coworkers who are looking to buy, sell, or refinance in the next 6 months? Can I count on you to give me a call? Same thing with the buyer's agent. Hey, here's your update. Love talking with you. Oh, by the way, who else are you working with that I can help you with? Nobody right now? Awesome. Can I count on you to give me a call when you do? And your point being, I know you said it 3 times. I want to make sure everybody really caught that. Notice Ralph said when you do this phone call, it's a phone call they're wanting to hear. The only thing you need to add to it is a call to action, which is to get more business, which is totally cool because you just called them to give them an update, which they want to hear from. You're scratching that itch. You've just done something for them. They want to do something for you too. It's just the law of reciprocation. You just have to ask for it.
Excuse me. Now, people say, well, my system sends out an email every week with those updates. That's great. Keep doing that. But an email can't deliver a live interactive call to action.
Yeah.
This really is like a Trojan horse. Like they opened the door, they saw the gift, they brought the horse inside, and then all hell broke loose, right? Well, and this is the Trojan horse because they want your call. Now that they've got your call, you're going to give them a cool call to action. You're not going to club them, but you're going to give them a cool call to action.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Our first call in the hierarchy of leads is to our pipeline. Okay.
Tuesday call. Yep.
After your pipeline, your best source for new business is your past client database. So I ask her, whom should you call next for more business? Is it people that you already have helped and know how awesome you and your team are, or people have never worked with you and don't know what you can do? Well, that would be the peeps in my database. She answered correctly. I said, all right, great. Well, are you totally current with your database marketing, specifically the quarterly calls that we do, your monthly mailer, your weekly emails to your database? Have you done all this stuff? Nope. Haven't done it. Okay, well, then that's what should happen next. Okay, so before we're fretting about cold calls now, right? I want you to go through, I want you to make your just ask calls to your pipeline, and I want to do your marketing calls and frankly, the rest of your marketing to your database as well.
So, and then the basic script for the marketing of the database is, hey, this is Carl from carlsgreatmortgagecompany.com. I helped you with your financing, your home in the past. And I just want to give you a quick call to tell you thanks for letting me help you guys out. How you guys doing? They're going to answer, fine, thank you, good to hear from you, Carl, whatever, right? They go, awesome. Well, I don't want to keep you long. I just want to say hi and thanks for letting me help you guys out with your home financing. Hey, while I have you on the phone, is there anyone else that you know that needs help buying or selling a house? And just being honest, most of the time it's no, right? And then you say, well, can I ask you a favor? And they say yes. Hey, if you hear of somebody, can I count on you to send them my way? Question mark. And let them answer. Everybody says yes to that.
Right.
Hey, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for letting me catch up, and good to hear from you guys. And I look forward to hearing you when you call back with friends or family that I can help too. Thanks so much. And that's it. Totally cool. Totally chill.
Yep.
I think a lot of people struggle with this one, Ralph, because they go, well, I haven't talked to him in the last 3 years, or the last 5 years, or the last 2 years, or the last year, or the last 10 years. What do you say to somebody like that?
So they're like, yeah. So I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy, that girl that calls up, and I haven't talked to him for years, and so all I do is call and ask him for business. Okay. You bring up an excellent point when you're doing your events. That's like, you bought a car. And after you bought the car, it had been some time, 2 or 3 years, whatever. You got a call from the salesman, the car salesman. Check it. How you doing? Hey, just I was going through my file. I saw your thing. You want to make sure everything's going all right with the car. You're happy with it. It's a neat service. Hey, can we help you? Here's something we can do. Right? Did you think for a minute?
Son of a gun, hadn't called me for 3 years. The nerves to call me today, ask me how I'm doing, and to thank me for my business 3 years ago. I can't wait to pick up the phone and get on Facebook and tell all my friends that jerk salesperson sold me a car 4 years ago, had the audacity to call me up and thank me and ask me how I was doing and ask me if I'm looking to get a new car. You wouldn't think that for a second.
Of course not.
Because they haven't been sitting there waiting for you to call. Right?
No.
They don't know you're supposed to call every 3 months, every 4 months. They don't know that.
There's no manual.
They're sitting there going, holy cow, 4 years later, Carl still remembered my name. How awesome is that?
Yeah. Yep.
Totally. So, it goes back to that thing, Ralph, that we always talk about. People don't think about us near as much as we think they do.
Exactly right.
Yeah, no big deal. So
exactly right. In fact, on this database marketing, Greg out in Tulsa, funny story, he was working on it was calling and marketing the database, and he was dragging his feet because he wanted to organize his database. And we get this from a lot of people. It's disorganized. I gotta fix this and I gotta do that. And what if the number's no good? So if you pick up the phone and call, you'll find out if the number's no good. Anyway, he wound up sending this mailer. And on our next call, he was laughing. He said, I don't know why I waited so long, Ralph. He said, I sent it out to a guy who I had not spoken to. I closed his loan 13 years ago. We've never spoken. He got the mailer, called me up. Greg, hey, man, thanks so much for sending this. He says, honestly, I'd forgotten how to reach you, but my wife and I were just talking about there's a place we want to buy. We needed a mortgage, and we couldn't remember how to reach you, and boom, this came in the mail. So thanks so much. 13 years. Dude,
it's been 13 years. How come you didn't call me up every weekend before that? Right? Of course not, right?
Yeah.
All right, so number one, so again, we're talking about how do we overcome call reluctance? Call people who look forward, that know you, that look forward to you calling it.
Don't want you to call, yeah.
No, so call number one was a Tuesday update, giving an update, asking for the business. 3, past database. Thank you so much for letting me help you in the past. That's Buffini's tagline. Hey, thanks for letting me help you in the past. And can I count on you when you, a family member or friend, is looking to buy, sell, or refinance? Can I count on you to give me a call? That's call number 2. Call number 3, Ralph.
Call number 3. So I said, all right, now, as I'm continuing my conversation with her, I said, did you ever pre-approve somebody? And then later you followed up with them only to find out that they just closed like 3 weeks earlier with another lender? She goes, oh, don't remind me. Yeah, I mean, we've all done this. Why? We pre-approve somebody, and then we don't stay in touch with them. Well, they're looking for a house. They'll whatever. They'll call us when they find one. Well, you know what? what's going to happen is they're going to talk to the first person that crosses the road when they find a new house. So you want to make sure that's you. You want to make sure you stay in touch with them. I ask her, who's a better prospect? Somebody that you've already pre-approved, or a referral that hasn't even been referred to you yet? Like, you want to go out and spend time calling people and taking them, meeting them, and all that, and you're dreading the calls to do that. So hopefully they'll send you a referral, and you've already got somebody that's been all the way through your pipeline and pre-approved, and you're not even staying in touch with them. What in the heck? Right. See,
and we laugh at this. We've all been guilty of this, by the way.
I know. Well, you said, well, that's an easy one. Yeah. Okay. Have you called them yet? No, you got me there again. Haven't called them. Right. So that's the third calls to our pals. We want to make sure we call out to our pre-approved and looking. You've got to stay top of mind with them so that when they find the house they want, it's you they deal with. Because someone else is going to cross their path who can help them with financing. And if that person is sharp, is with it, they're going to capture their attention. And the next thing you know, they will have closed that thing before you even got back to them.
Yeah.
So it's really important you stay top of mind with them.
So call number one, Tuesday updates with a call to action. Call number two of a welcoming call is calling my past database. Call number three, the people that I've pre-approved in the past. By the way, we just call them up, the script of that. How's the house hunting going? What's things looking like? Getting them to imagine what it's going to be like being in that new house. I'm getting them to imagine being in the swimming pool, the extra bedroom, the smaller house, the less house payment, closer to the school, further away from the school, getting them to imagine those benefits, what that's going to be like, and how's it going with Realtor Susie? How's that going? Just a simple phone call that hey, if you need to crunch some numbers, you got my number, give me a call. So that's call number three. Who's the next group of people for us to call, Ralph? That's a welcome phone call.
So the next group of people, and we're getting closer to home here. So we are going to move into the conversation about realtors. I said, all right, let's talk about realtor calls. Why do we even make realtor calls? Why do we call realtors? She said, well, so that we can, book a face-to-face appointment, create new referral relationships, or continue older ones, and then they'll feel comfortable with us, and they'll send us business. Right. I said, now, if we want them to meet with us face-to-face, who is it easier to get to meet with us face-to-face? Agents that we know or agents that we don't know? Well, agents I know, of course. Yeah. Right. They're going to be much more likely to meet with you. Well, this prompted a series of questions. I said, great. Do you have an issue calling agents you know and inviting them to coffee? No. I think that's fantastic. I love doing that. Nice. Okay, good. Are there any this question. Are there any qualified agents in your town whom you know who aren't sending you business? She starts laughing. Seriously? Like, about all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, she's in a major metro area. It's like millions and millions of people live there. Heck yes, there are agents qualified that she knows that aren't sending her business. I said, well, then assuming there isn't a specific reason not to call somebody you know, why would you even call agents you don't know until you've exhausted all the agents that you do know?
And this would be agents maybe that I've closed with in the past, or maybe I go to church with, or their kids play my kids' soccer.
They live on your street. They're in your BNI group. They're in your Rotary Club.
Just the day-to-day routine people that I know.
Doesn't matter how you know them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you know them. If it's easier to get with people you know, easier to get them to meet with you, why in the world would you call people you don't know until you've exhausted all the relationships and all the tangent relationships and all the things that can come from relationships from the people that you do know?
And Ralph, what we were talking about before we started this call is it's very likely for most people that unless you just moved to a new area, which we've seen that,
yeah,
or you're brand new to the mortgage industry, for most people, what you talked about here is doing your Tuesday updates, calling your past database, calling those people that you pre-approved and lookings, calling those people, calling those agents that you know that aren't currently seeing you business, it's likely for most people, not everybody, I get that, but for most people, they'll never have to make a cold call and yet exponentially increase their business, because as they increase in their business, they have more Tuesday update calls to make. They have more past database. They have more pre-approved lookings. It's like it's like the stairway. I call it the stairway to heaven. It's like a stairway to heaven.
Exactly. I was just looking at this. I went, oh, that's the next slide right there. It's unlikely you'll ever need to make a cold call. Isn't that awesome? How liberating is that? You're fearing calling realtors you don't know? Fine. Don't ever call. I tell people, I forbid you to make a cold call until you've done all these other things. Well, crap, I don't know if I'll ever get through all those. Well, good. We just get your call collected.
And if you do, we can help you with your cold calling of your realtors. It's just, for most people, make that the last thing that you do, and it might not ever be a thing that you do.
That's exactly right. Okay, so just real quick review. First, calls, just ask calls out to your pipeline. Second, the marketing calls to your database, of course, with the other database marketing is part of that whole strategy. Calls to your pre-approved and looking, calls to your known realtors, and then, and only then, should you spend time making calls to the unknown realtors.
If needed.
If needed. So here's just a few quick case studies here. So we got Brandon from Birmingham. So he increased his business by over 600% in 12 months, doing only the Just Ask calls.
Tuesday calls, update calls.
The Tuesday update calls. He came into our group doing 3 loans a month on average, and 12 months later, he closed 22 loans that month, doing only the Just Ask calls. And if you consider, that will, we tell everybody, and you do the math on it, that will increase your business by roughly 30%. But that's not 30% like annually, it's 30% month over month over month. Get out a calculator and do those numbers. It actually comes to way over 600. So he did that and didn't break his neck doing it. Jay from up in St. Paul, he went from 5 loans a month to 20 loans a month, just doing the marketing to his database. Okay, so both of these guys, huge results, and not from cold calling. And then Sherry, well, from Phoenix, she's the subject of this, the one we've been talking to. She instantly got over her call reluctance, and as a bonus, began getting business from a listing agent she'd never even been able to connect with before. Now that's a nice one. The person they wouldn't even take her calls, but when they got a loan on your pipeline, they'll take your call every time. I love when people go, what if they don't return my call? Here's a script that works every time. Hey, this is Ralph Watkins at XYZ Mortgage. I'm calling you on the Sanchez file. I need you to get back to me as quickly as you can. Thanks. Are they going to call back? 100% of the time they're going to call back. All right, now you get actually a little bonus on this webinar, because here's the next step. And usually at the meetings I'm limited time, but we'll take the time to do it here. What if on top of having call reluctance, you're brand new in the business, or you're just returning, you have, like this lady here, no pipeline, no database, you don't know anyone.
And we've seen this, actually.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Well, this slide is I show at the meeting, but the good news, we'll talk real quickly here about an excellent strategy for working with title companies to generate an unlimited warm list of producing realtors who are waiting for your call. So let's hit that right now. So literally, if you employ this, it removes even the last part of what if I did all that stuff and now what do I need to do? You still don't have to make cold calls. So part of what we offer, we got an amazing program out here that Scotty, oh my gosh, he is so brilliant. Sometimes I get exhausted just watching him sit still because he's got like so much energy. But he created Agent Mastermind, and Agent Mastermind is it's part of what we do. These are classes that we do every week for your realtors and referral partners on some aspect of building their business. And they're free for them to attend, and they learn about the class.
And by the way, just make sure everybody understands.
Yeah.
Everybody that's listening to this today, you have Agent Mastermind as part of your membership.
Yes.
Yeah. So you already have it, and this is where Yeah, this is where every Tuesday at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, we teach a class to your real estate agents, giving you all the accolades so that, and the purpose of doing this is you're bringing something to the table, you're bringing something of value, which is great information. And it's this webinar, it's training your agents how to list more houses, how to find more buyers. And it's like a coaching program that you provide to them as part of your list, and you get notified which of your realtors registered and show up. So you get an email list, a phone list, and a contact list of everybody that registered for your weekly call, that you get a unique link to send out to your database. All right, so a lot of people might not have known that. So
perfect. Yeah, thanks for the clarification. So with that in your hip pocket, what if you went to a title company in your area? Start with just one. Well, title companies, they pay people to go around and call on realtors and mortgage companies. We've all had title reps come in and hit on us they're drumming up business for their title company. So you go to a title company and say, hey, I'd love to work with you to generate some more, to help you generate some more business. And I didn't know if you'd be interested in working with me to organize a lunch and learn for some of your top realtors. Well, what do I have to do? Well, your part's really easy. If you got a list of the people that bring business to you, and you've been wanting to kind of scratch in your head looking for a way to return some value to them, if you'll just invite them, I've got a class that I can come in and teach. Oh, what's your class on? We've got dozens of classes in the archive that you have already that are part of Agent Mastermind. So you just pick a class. You can pick the latest, I got a class on how to pick up 30 listings in the next 30 days. That's one of the classes. Awesome. So they invite the people in. So they perhaps have a meeting room or a closing room or whatever. And most places now have some sort of equipment that you could plug in your computer, whatever. So you'll get up and say, hey, I want to thank you all for coming today, and got an awesome class for you. But before we get started, I want to thank Linda here at Secure Title and for helping to organize this. Doesn't she do a great job? And isn't she awesome to work with? Oh my gosh, I love it when our transactions close here. The team here is just outstanding. So thank you very much, Linda, for that. Hey, listen, you're in for a special treat today because my business partner Scott Hudspeth will be teaching class for you. So a little press for time. So let's go ahead and get started. You push play, and now you're projecting it up on the screen in the room, and we are teaching the class for you. By the way, when the class started, when you have the place setting where everybody comes in, we have we call it a report card, but it's a little sheet that they just fill out some information on there, okay? And so that you have a record of who's there, and you have them do that as you're thanking Linda and doing whatever. So now the class ends, and you say, hey, I want to, wasn't that awesome material? Good. Hey, listen, we're always looking for ways to improve on what we're doing here, so we'd love to get your feedback and to debrief with you a little. Now, unfortunately, I'm a little short of time now, so I've got a dash, but I have your information sheet, so I'll give you a shout next week and we'll put our heads together. Cool? Hey, listen, I can't wait to talk to you. Thanks a lot. You grab your stuff and you're out. Now, what's just happened? Somebody else other than you invited these people, did that work? Somebody else other than you taught the class. By the way, on that, if you like teaching in class and you'd prefer to do it, every class you can download the PowerPoint, the class notes, you got everything you need if you want to do the class. But if that's not you, somebody else taught the class for you, us, and now these people are waiting for your call next week. And when you call them, what are you not? You are not a cold call. Hey, this is Ralph Watkins, and you came out to our lunch and learn last week at Secure Title. Oh, hey, Ralph, how you doing? Whatever happens on that call, it's going to be easier than if I were a cold call trying to reach them. By the way, a great script for that would be, hey, it's Ralph. You came to our lunch. Hey, Ralph, how's it going? Hey, good. Hey, listen, too bad I had to dash out of there. We always love getting input from people on how we can improve what we're doing. I don't know if you got maybe a couple of minutes tomorrow. We can grab a cup of coffee, and I'd love to get your comments. It's a great lead-in. And now you're a warm call because they know you. You've got a tacit recommendation from the title company that they use and respect. So you've completely warmed up this list. Well, I think it's probably safe to say, Carl, that these people have more than one title company or closing attorney in their town, right? So what if you went to one every couple of weeks or every week? Doing that, you literally, as the slide said, could have an unlimited warm list of producing realtors who are expecting your call, and you're doing no cold call, period.
So what we're saying here today then is on Mondays, we can call those real estate agents that we already know us. Either we've done business with in the past, or we know them from church or soccer field or whatever that we know. Call on those first, if they're qualified, of course, assuming they're doing business.
Qualified, yep.
Through the MLS numbers, call them. On Tuesday, we're going to call and get updates. People expecting our call, ask for the business. On Wednesday, we're going to call the people that we helped them close their home in the past, our past database. The purpose of the call is to thank them. Oh, one more thing. Can I count on you to give me a call when you or a friend is looking to buy, sell, or refinance? Total cool call to action. Call number 3, calling our pre-approved lookings, the people that we've already talked to, that we've already approved. Call them on Thursdays and making sure that we're staying in touch with them, that they don't end up getting their loan through somebody else, even though we went through all the effort of trying to pre-approve them. That's a welcome phone call. Call number 4 that we're talking about, or I'm sorry, call number 4 that we're talking about now is where we call the real estate agents by hooking up with a title company, asking them who the best agents are, and then having that title company introduce us to them, those agents, that we have this great class that we teach every Tuesday at noon. Frankly, it's somebody else doing it for you, but you get all the accolades. And then following up, what'd you think about the class? And that starts that conversation, the frog conversation, for a coffee meeting on an agent. It's not a cold call anymore, called the title company hooked you up. If you're making those 4 phone calls, you'll never, ever, ever have to pick up the phone and call somebody that doesn't know you, that has no clue who you are, ever. Like never, ever, never. So I think, Ralph, you make a brilliant point here. Nobody that I know of is truly afraid of the phone. They just have a reluctance to call strangers, cold calling and asking for business, somebody that hasn't a clue who they are. And your argument is, and I think you've made it brilliantly, dude, don't call people that don't know who you are, ever. Call people that know who you are. They're either your update calls, your past database, your pre-approved looking, or realtors that title companies have hooked you up with, and you're offering them these agent mastermind classes. Pretty much put it in a bucket there.
I love it, man. That's awesome. You've said it brilliantly.
Yeah.
And doing it this way, that should ease your mind, just as it did for my client who called me, and we had spectacular results, and you will too.
Yeah. So we've never seen this not work, guys. I'm just telling you. It's actually against federal law for us to guarantee any results or anything. That's an FTC violation. So we're not doing that now. But I'm just telling you, I've never seen somebody make these calls and not get spectacular results. I've seen people not make calls, but now there's no good reason. These people are expecting your call. These are welcome calls. And like Ralph said, when we put up the recording to this, we'll have this PowerPoint. We're going to have a little PDF there with the basic scripts for each one of the phone calls. And man, just pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone and call those people that's already waiting for you to call them. Right? They want to hear from you. Just call them. Dude, this was brilliant, man. I never really looked at it this way, Ralph. Well, of course, we all know that it's cool to call and give updates on the file, and it's cool to call our past database. And of course, we ought to call the people that's pre-approved looking. I never thought of it that, dude, they're actually waiting for my phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
they are.
These are the people that will willingly give you referrals if you just simply ask for it. Make sure you ask for it in your scripts. So make sure you review the scripts and do what Ralph said. Have that call to action in each one of your scripts. But again, these are your friends. These are your buddies, right? And don't make that fatal mistake that I used to make. Well, gee, Ralph, they know what I do. They know I'm a loan officer.
Oh, man.
Shouldn't they just send to me? They know what I do.
I already told them.
I already told them once. Yeah, don't make that mistake. Have a call to action with every conversation. Yeah, and it is totally cool. It's totally cool. So we miss anything, Ralph? We covered everything here, brother?
No, I think this was a great class.
Dude, this
Really good class.
solves an enormous problem. And, you know, for all you people here in the Freedom Club, you need any help practicing these scripts, man, let us know which one, get with your coach, and you feel free. You know, you can call everybody in the Freedom Club, you have my cell phone number, you got Ralph's cell phone number, Tammy's and Mary's and Scotty's and Scott Ranger and Kevin Gillespie and Irene and Kristen. And I mean, you got everybody's phone number. You want to go over some scripts with somebody, dude, call your coach and schedule time. And I love going over scripts. Everybody else does too. And if Mary's your coach, you want to talk to me, or if I'm your coach, you want to talk to Ralph, talk to anybody you want to. So yeah, this is great stuff. So, hey guys, thanks for being here today. Ralph, dude, awesome class as always, my brother.
Thank you, my friend. It's a great pleasure. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, and thanks everybody for being here and hanging out with Ralph and I today. We know that you could be anywhere doing anything, that you would choose to hang out with us. Truly is an honor. And it's a true honor to be part of your, what I call the JOA, your journey of awesomeness. So now we've relieved the call reluctance. You're going to be calling people, expecting your calls. So get off of this call, get on the next call, get to the closings, make some more money, spend some more time with your family, and we'll see you on the web, guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.